Sung in the cathedrals, whispered in the shadows, ever unchanging, seldom unchanged, bright, incandescent, the black of the pit, such is the stuff of legends. Hello and welcome to Kevin's commentary on comics. So, back in the mid-80s, DC had just finished up Crisis on Infinite Earths, where all of their multiple parallel universes and different Earths that they have had all been merged down into one cohesive Earth where all of the heroes lived and existed together. So they did another crossover event. This is the first one they did post-Crisis, and it was called Legend. It was plotted by John Ostrander, scripted by Len Wein, and drawn by John Byrne. Now, I remembered this series actually quite fondly because at the time, I read a little bit of pre-Crisis DC, probably got in with the Teen Titans, and read a little bit more from there. Crisis hit, read all that, loved it, really thought, hey, one single DC universe, that makes sense to me, fits more in with the Marvel, which I was always a Marvel guy. So I read a lot of DC at that point in time. So when a fan of the show, my show, asked if I would review Legends, I was like, hey, that's a great idea. Let me go get it. And that resulted in my first quandary. I read, as I've said before, all my comics digitally. And I really didn't want to go and dig up my original physical copies out of my comic book collection because, first of all, it's about 30 some odd boxes that are not really organized very well. Trying to find these particular issues would really have been kind of a pain, and I really didn't want to actually go through the physical comic anyway. I really do enjoy reading my comics on my iPad. It's a lot easier. So I actually had to go and buy these issues individually on Comixology, which is fine. They were like $2 a piece. It was worth it to me because, again, I remember Legends being kind of a cool series and I wanted to revisit it. Any rate, I downloaded Legends and began reading. Now, just to summarize the plot of this book, Darkseid the Destroyer had kind of sort of a bet, or maybe a philosophical disagreement with the Phantom Stranger on the free will of the human race and the fact that they look up to these superheroes as legends. Hey, hence the title. Obviously, Darkseid thought humanity should not have any free will, and the Phantom Stranger said, nah, sure they should. Think they do. Dare ya. Why the Phantom Stranger didn't get involved here right at the start and stop Darkseid from doing it, I don't know. Who knows what the Phantom Stranger does and why? I should mention really quick, I love the character of the Phantom Stranger, especially the costume. That hat, cape with the big collar, white turtleneck, necklace thing. He was a really cool looking character. Any rate, let's face a couple things about this series right up front. This series was really nothing more than a promotional tool for a couple other things that were going on in DC during that time. Number one, and probably most notably, was the introduction of the Suicide Squad. Now, seeing that the movie is coming out featuring these guys, it seems kind of apropos at this point in time to talk about it. Yes, this team was introduced in Legends, probably going on at the time that this came out. The first issue of Suicide Squad came out, or at least came out directly after this was over. So you had the original team, which consisted of Boomerang, Deadshot, the Bronze Tiger, the Enchantress, and Blockbuster. Am I missing anybody? Oh, and their leader was Colonel Rick Flag, who I don't know where this guy comes from. I guess part of the War comic. So also in Legends, there was also the first appearance of Amanda Waller, who was the leader of the Suicide Squad. So that was her first introduction, and she's actually become a fairly consistent character in the DC universe, even used in some of the DC-based cartoons. So besides Suicide Squad, this was also an introduction to the new Justice League. So at the time of this book, the Justice League consisted of what has really kind of become known as Justice League Detroit, which consists of Martian Manhunter, Vibe, Gypsy, Vixen, Steel, the Elongated Man, and Firestorm was in there later. During this Legends crossover event, that team was disbanded. This set up for the Griffin and Dematis, I'm gonna go with that, version of the Justice League, which was really more comedy-centric than anything else. Actually, probably was a bit of a long shot at the time to do it, but let's face it, that version of the Justice League is actually well regarded now if you look back in comics history. So Legends helped kick that off. Also, Legends helped kick off the Flash, the Wally West Flash, as he took on the mantle of the Flash after Barry Allen died, presumably, in Crisis. Although this is a severely depowered Flash. Apparently, just before or during Crisis, Wally West had this condition where whenever he used his super speed, he was slowly killing himself. So something happened during Crisis, and honestly, I don't remember this thread of the storyline, but he gets some anti-monitor energy that helped rectify that situation, but he could no longer run as fast as he could before, where he was previously running fast as or faster than the speed of light, breaking time barriers and all that type of stuff. He could now run no faster than the speed of sound. Listen, Wally, speed of sound, that's still pretty fast. I would be happy to go at the speed of a golf cart if I had the opportunity. So, wah on only going the speed of sound. Well, I'd hoped to get further into my review of Legends in this single episode, but I apparently have a lot to say, and again, I try to keep my videos right around the 8-minute mark. So tune in next time for the rest of my discussion about Legends. What did you think about Wally only being able to run at the speed of sound? Now, as I recall, that didn't last too long. I think he tapped into the Speed Force and was running at light speed in no time. Also, did you read or like Suicide Squad? I never read it, as it just never really did much for me. What did you think? Leave a comment below. So until next time, I'm Kevin, and that was my commentary. Click that subscribe button so you don't miss part 2 of Was Legends Really Legendary? Until next time, see ya, and have a great day.